Not your last name for me.
Kusmich.
Hey, it's Linda West. I'm here with
Nicholas Kusmich.
Okay, Nicholas is an international speaker, founder of the H2H Media Group and the League of Extraordinary Marketers. He's best known as the world's leading Facebook advertising strategist and for having the highest ROIs in the industry. Now, this is a statistic that's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to hear more about it. 30,973.32% ROI. That is return on investment, people. That is pretty darn good. I think I could handle that.
Yeah.
He's been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur Inc. magazine, and Virgin Airlines, and he's shared the stage with some of the world's thought leaders: Gary Vee, Robin Sharma, Damon John, Seth Godin, and Sean Stevenson. Nicholas works with Inc. 500 companies, and he's best-selling author. He is here today to answer some questions that I had for him.
That's a lot about me.
Yeah. Did you do that?
I didn't, but that's a lot about me.
I like hearing good stuff like that, right?
Sure.
Okay, so today we talked about marketing, and there were 3 points that you brought up.
Right.
The 3 points were market in the year we are in.
Yes.
Number 2 was to do not do mass marketing, which so many people do still, right?
Yeah.
But you need to do micro advertising. And then number 3 is no selling. Nobody wants to wake up in the morning and they say, hey, I got my credit card in my hand. What can I buy today, right?
Very true.
So let's address the first one, marketing in the year we are in. So what made you come up with that, you know?
Well, I think the simplest way to understand it is like understanding behavior. Like, what do people do? When do they do it? Where do they do it? Mm-hmm. And the reality is we've been led to believe for so long that the only forms of advertising was like billboards or TV commercials, and that's what people perceive as advertising. But when you take a step back and you think about it, when was the last time I saw a commercial? When was the last time I read a billboard? Probably never. When was the last time I was on my mobile phone looking at a social stream? Many times a day, all day.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just it's the realization that those were years ago, and they served its purpose when they served its purpose, and it's cool, and it's still around for people who want to waste money. Mm-hmm. But the realization that we live in a completely different world. We live in a Web 2.0, social media-driven, internet-based world where everybody lives on this.
I'm on it right now, interviewing you.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So that's the whole point of marketing the year that you're in. Really comes down to realizing where do people spend their time, their money, their energy, and then how do I communicate to them in a way that's relevant to them.
So for those that are a little bit older than you, like me, Web 2.0, I keep hearing that term. What does that mean exactly?
It actually means nothing, but it means everything.
Perfect, I love it.
It means nothing, but it means everything. It's essentially realizing that the internet has changed, and the internet is very social right now.
Okay.
So it's this premise that the internet is very socially driven, and keeping that top of mind in everything that we do.
Awesome. Yeah. I love it. I'm social media. I'm social for a reason, right?
It is indeed.
So I make sure I'm so very social with my social media. Okay, so let's talk about not mass marketing, but micro advertising. What does that exactly mean?
Well, so mass marketing basically says, how can I get my message in front of the most amount of people as possible? And so the example that we gave earlier is like Super Bowl. If I can get my message in front of 60 million people, I'm going to kill it. The reality is, that's only a good mentality to have if you want to waste a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. If you want to save money and get the 30,000% ROIs that we're talking about, you want to be very careful about who sees your message. So it's not just about how many people see your message, it's how many of the right people see your message. And so this mentality has to shift from how can I get the most amount of people to see what I'm talking about to how can I get the right people to see what I'm talking about. And that's where transactions happen.
And that's where that target market is so important, right? Knowing exactly who your audience is. Exactly. Like pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Pinpoint. Yeah. Because if you, like say it's entrepreneurs, there's thousands and thousands, hundreds
what kind
of thousands.
Of entrepreneur?
Right, exactly. Right. So you got to be very, very targeted. Somebody's on there. Yay! I don't know who it is, but say hey. Okay, so the next one is no selling. Gosh, I preach this all the time.
Yeah.
Stop selling to people because people do not like to have stuff thrown at them.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just it. I think at the end of the day, when we actually are like looking at our own behavior, like I hate being sold to. So I hate when people come around and try to sell me stuff, and then why as an entrepreneur would I go around and try to do the same thing?
Right.
I think in a social world, it's all about social and service. It's not about selling. And so if we can replace the mindset of always be selling with always be serving. And the idea is, how can I just bring value to those that are around me? It's a long-term play, admittingly, but the more value that I can bring, the more people who will trust me, know, like, and trust me.
Yeah.
And the more people who know, like, and trust me are more likely to transact with me on some level. So rather than selling, I say have the mind of service. If you have the mind of service, you're more likely to have more transactions, and also to do it in a way that feels good when it happens.
And you don't feel dirty, right?
Yeah.
I wrote an article called Repellent Marketing. Because that's what it is when you throw business cards at people, you're just repelling people away.
Right.
So let's see, how can we close this up? What would you want to share with us? Oh, maybe like the test and measure. You were talking about marketing, having a couple different ads maybe, and instead of just doing one of them, maybe do a couple of them at the same time and see which one has the best ROI.
So many people have this hope and pray mentality where like, I'm just going to hope and pray that I'm going to get results. And they rely on their assumptions rather than they do on data. So I have a whole ton of assumptions. Oftentimes we're right, oftentimes we're wrong. So I say whenever you run any sort of advertising, especially on Facebook, because you could do it like this without costing you any money. If I'm going to put out an ad, why wouldn't I put two side by side, not literally side by side, but why would I not run two at the same time?
To the same audience?
To the same audience, just to see which one resonates more with that audience. If I only put one out there, I'm literally hoping and praying, please like it. If I put two or even three, and then I can look at that data and say, oh, people like this one more than that one, then I can turn that one off and I can turn this one on. And so the idea is always be testing, get data, and then only, get this, only do the stuff that works.
Oh, really?
Oh, but it's funny because you have some people spend money on advertising that doesn't work.
And then they just keep spending it because they think it's going to work if they spend more. Throw more money.
To me, that's insanity. I mean, if you're going to spend money, advertising is investing. It's you invest and you get a return. If you can do that, then you're good. So
now, would you say, like, say somebody's just starting out and they don't really know what to do, and they want to put an ad out there and say they're going to try the A/B testing thing. Say they're going to try that.
Yeah.
What's the minimum amount that they should try to spend on an ad? Like, I've seen $5 ads. I mean, is that worth it? Or do you need to do more?
I would think a little bit more. I mean, you do want enough people to see something for you to get the data that you really need.
Okay.
So I would say, like, hey, if you're comfortable spending $20, I think 20 is sufficient to be able to get you the data that you need. If your 20 turns into 40, well, let's spend another 20. If it turns into 40 again, well, then let's start spending 60. And if 60 turns into 120, well, let's keep spending. So the idea is spend little, see what you get back, and then based on that, you can continue to spend more and more without ever being at risk of losing more than you can afford.
If you spend 20 and you get 0, don't do that one maybe.
Change it up.
Change it up.
Yeah, try it again. And then the worst thing that happened is you lose $20, which is not the end of the world.
So what your business, your advertising business, is Facebook specifically, or what exactly?
So we have two sides to the business. One is an agency, and it focuses primarily on Facebook advertising. And then the second side is a consultancy, which again focuses a little bit broader on social media advertising. But yeah, we're either doing it for someone or we're training someone's team on how to do it so that they can kind of get the results that they're looking for.
Okay, now 30,000% ROI.
Yeah.
Can you do that for most people?
No.
Can you do that for only one person? Can you do it again?
I can do it again, yes. But rather than getting caught up on the number, what I like to tell people is, if you spent $1 and you made $1.20, was it a good day?
Yes.
So then I would just spend as many dollars as you can to make as many $1.20s as you can, and you're in a good place. Now, if that dollar happens to turn into $20, yay! But again, I want people to be in the mindset of dollar in more than $1 out means we're having a successful day. And the more we can capitalize on that and do that over and over and over again, now we're an actual true revenue generating business.
And how does somebody work with you?
They can't.
No, they can't.
No. So to work with us, we have
not for hire.
No, essentially, we have it's referral based only, and it's an application process, and we have about a 4-month waiting list right now.
Okay.
So you can't.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you're here today and talk to us and share with us about marketing. And even though you're not hireable, you still took time for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
my audience is entrepreneurs, and they're all looking to get the word out about what they do and change the world.
And Facebook is the platform that can most easily do that for you.
Okay, one last thing. You mentioned you're talking about hiring. Like somebody asked, how do I find out who I should hire to help me with my Facebook advertising? You had some criteria,
Yeah,
right?
so I would say three things. Number one, they put their money where their mouth is. In other words, they have a money-back guarantee. Number two, they don't lock you into any long-term contracts or agreements. I think that's important. And three, they are able and willing to give you references to other people that they've worked with. If they can meet those three criteria, I think you're at very little risk of getting burned in that process.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add?
Go out there, invest in learning how to do what you think is going to move the needle the most for you. So if it's Facebook, make it Facebook. If it's something else, don't do too many things at the same time. Focus, get very specific about what you want to do, and then just never give up. Just keep going after it until you get the results you want.
Well, thank you so much, Nicholas. Really appreciate it. And I hope that was
Absolutely.
great info for you guys. Share it out because this is really great info. Say bye.
Bye.
That's his second time on Facebook Live ever.